Welcome back, all my Minecrafting friends. In this video we're going to be talking about hostile mob spawn requirements for the overworld, because in my creeper only farm tutorial I was getting a lot of questions in the comments section, so hopefully I can clear things up with this video. Now there's spawn requirements for hostile mobs that need to be met before any mobs will spawn. Things like light level, distance from a player, believe it or not, and blocks that they can and can't spawn on. So we're going to go over a few of those things right now. Let's start with blocks that they won't spawn on. Mobs will not spawn on bedrock. They won't spawn on transparent blocks like glass, leaf blocks. Path blocks, believe it or not, are also considered transparent and mobs will not spawn on it. Ice blocks as well. Compressed ice they will spawn on. Regular ice they won't. Half slabs, they're going to spawn on upper half slabs but not lower slabs. So if you have a slab sitting on the ground like that, they're not going to spawn on it. They're also not going to spawn in lava or any kind of light source or water. They won't spawn on any block that has a block on top of it. So if you have doors set up, trapdoors, fence posts, even signs, banners, pressure plates, minecart rails, carpet, daylight sensor, switches, buttons, any kind of redstone, or believe it or not, even player heads and flower pots are going to block mobs from spawning on it. That's something most of you probably already know. Now let's talk about light. Hostile mobs, for the most part in the overworld, need a light level of 7 or below to spawn. What does that mean? Well, each light source has its own light value, and we'll go over that in just a second now. But for demonstration purposes, we'll talk about a torch. Now, a torch has a light level value of 14. That means that light is going to travel 14 blocks until it becomes 0. So at the 14th block, away from that torch, the light dims out to 0. At the block itself, it's 14. So for every block away from that light you go, you drop 1 light value. So if this torch is right here on this wall, this block here is light level 14. It's also light level 14 at this block because it's over it. So that means this one is 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So anywhere outside this green area is where the mobs would spawn around that torch. Same thing if we had it on the wall, only we're going to go up 1, of course, because this block right here is now 14. This block right here is also 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and 7. So anywhere around that area is where the mobs would spawn. Why is that important? Because of the light levels around your mob farm itself. You need to light up the area or make it mob proof in some way in order to keep all the mobs spawning in the mob farm. So as I said before, each light source has its own value. Torches and end rods both have a value of 14. A redstone torch has a light level of 7. Now jack-o'-lanterns, which doesn't make sense because it's a torch inside of a pumpkin, but it has a higher light level of 15. Doesn't make sense. I don't get it. But so jack-o'-lanterns, glowstone, redstone lamp, sea lanterns, fire, and lava all have the highest level of 15. Now magma blocks have a level of 3 unless there is a light source nearby. Then it's going to absorb that light source value as well. So if there's a glowstone light right there and then a magma block on top, it's going to be that light source minus the distance away from it. So it's basically like another block. So if I had this glowstone here, this block right here is 14, 13. If I had a magma block here, it's going to be a light level of 12. The only difference. If it was covering it up, it would be a light level. So when this magma block was right here, it was light level 14 because it was 1 block away from that glowstone. Now there's other blocks you might not have known actually have a light value. A furnace, for example, when it's on, when it's actually smelting something, it has a light value of 13. An ender chest has a light level value of 7. That's not going to affect spawns, but it does have a light value. Now redstone ore, whenever it's activated, whenever you touch it, it has a light value of 8. A beacon also has a light level value of 15, the highest in the game. And believe it or not, your portal also is going to have a light value. Each one of these portal blocks, the purple blocks, is going to have a light level value of 11. So you're going to have a light emitting from that. Now that is the easy part. Now let's talk about distance from a player that mobs will and will not spawn. Believe it or not, they won't spawn within a certain distance of the player, and that distance is 24 blocks. So if I stand here on this lapis block, 24 blocks away from me is the distance that mobs will not spawn. So from here to this red out here, I did a diamond. It's not really a diamond. It's not really a circle. I just went with a diamond. So within that area, and that includes up and down from you, mobs are not going to spawn from a player or a player spawn point. So if you have a bed set up and it is set to your spawn point, if you've actually slept in it, it is your spawn point, mobs are not going to spawn within 24 blocks of that bed. Now that excludes mob spawners. If you find a natural mob spawner in a dungeon, you have to stand within 16 blocks of it in order for it to activate. If not, it's not going to activate. No mobs are going to be spitting out. But natural mob spawns, they will not spawn within 24 blocks from you. Now if you take a look here, I've got some green bands set up. So from 25 to 128 blocks way out there is the area that mobs will spawn in. Once they reach that 129th block, they're going to spawn and immediately despawn. So they're only going to spawn within that green area from there to there. Now you can see I've got a row of diamonds here set up, also diamond blocks, and that is 50 blocks from this lapis block. Now I noticed that, good, it's turning night, this is perfect time. I noticed that most mobs actually spawn within 50 to 128 blocks away from a player. So very few are going to spawn in from 50 to 24 blocks from you. Most of them are going to spawn in 50 to 128 blocks away from you. And I'm going to switch over to hard, and we're going to check out these mobs spawning in, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So 30 times per second it's going to check to see if there's a spot available for mobs to spawn in, and that's starting at the base level, so at bedrock level, and going up. So it starts looking at bedrock level every 1/20th of a second, and it goes up from there. So the lower to the bedrock your mob farm is, the more rates you are going to get, or the quicker they're going to be spawning in, basically. Now you can see I got 2 creepers that spawned in here on the green, but most of them are spawning in way out there on that 50 or more level that I was talking about. So really, once you set up your mob farm, you really want it to be at least 50 blocks away from you, no more than 128 blocks away from you to get optimal rates. And the bad thing is you're going to have to mob proof the entire area around where you're standing near your mob farm. The entire area up to 128 blocks away from you has to be mob proof, or else all your mobs are going to be spawning around you and not in your mob farm. So when you set up your mob farm, mob proof the entire area around it up to 128 blocks away from you, and don't set up your mob farm more than 128 blocks away from you. You want it to be at least 24 blocks away from you, and optimal 50 to 128 blocks away from you. So I hope that answered some of your questions. If not, leave a comment, leave your question in the comment, and I'll get back to you, and hopefully I answered most of them. I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.